Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me for today's lesson. My name is Kayla Lunsford and I am the Family and Consumer Sciences Agent in Garrett County. So today we are going to be talking about gardening safely. And this presentation was created by Catherine Jury, our Extension Specialist for Family Health. So we all know gardening is a great way to be physically active, enjoy the outdoors, and beautify our home and yard. There's also lots of health benefits to growing your own fruits and vegetables, herbs, but with any activity, it's important to know how to move prudently, how to use our equipment properly, and how to interact with nature responsibly. So that's what we're going to be touching on in today's lesson. So if you are watching today's lesson, you probably enjoy gardening, or if not, you probably enjoy the benefits of gardening. Perhaps you have a next door neighbor or a friend who brings you some fresh produce, sometimes during the summer months, or you get to enjoy the hard work of others through their landscaping and looking at their beautiful flowers. Or maybe you yourself like to get out and work in the garden. If so, what do you enjoy about gardening? So in today's lesson, we will first identify the health benefits of gardening, and then we will talk about how gardening is a great form of exercise, and we will also talk about injury prevention and some strategies for gardening safely. So why do you enjoy gardening? Generally, the reasons we enjoy gardening are benefits to our physical and mental health. So we'll kind of dive into some of those reasons next. When we garden, we're using large and small muscle groups. Our large muscle groups would be like our quads, think of our thighs, and our biceps, like our arms, and small muscles that we're utilizing would be like our fingers and our hands, and that's going to be really beneficial. So as a result of using those muscles, we can maintain and increase our strength in those muscles and the dexterity in our hands, which can be really beneficial, especially as we're getting older. Gardening can also be a great aerobic exercise, meaning that it increases our heart rate. And for individuals who may be recovering from some type of injury, may have some kind of illness, they can choose gardening as a form of formal or informal physical or occupational therapy. It can be a really great tool to get better. And it can be effective, enjoyable, and a really sustainable way to have therapy outside of a formal setting. So, as well as providing a lot of physical benefits, gardening is also great for our mental health. So, whether it's gardening, whether it's learning about plants, this can really provide common interest and learning opportunities for anyone who wants to spend more time with others. Maybe that's a neighbor, maybe that's your family, maybe that's your local garden club. You're just getting together with others who enjoy gardening as well, and it can really combat isolation and loneliness. Also, working with our hands and producing some type of finished product is super beneficial as well, such as planting seeds, weeding a garden plot, or harvesting something you've grown or helped to grow. This can elicit feelings of pride in our work and can enhance self-esteem, provide opportunities for self-mastery, and in some cases, it can even be a way to make some extra money. Additionally, studies have shown that gardening can even delay the onset and counteract the effects of dementia as well. Some other benefits to spending time outdoors and gardening include lowering blood pressure, increasing vitamin D levels, and we're going to get that from that sunlight, promoting deeper breathing and higher oxygen intake, and improving immune response. And additionally, reducing those stress levels and our heart rate. So the benefits of gardening go far and wide when it comes to our health. So as you are going through this presentation, this would be a good time to either share with someone next to you, or if you're watching alone, just think about this question. Does gardening feel like exercise to you? Why or why not? So think about it, maybe share with someone, or think about why gardening does or does not feel like exercise to you. So sometimes when we're doing something that is enjoyable to us, we're often getting a lot more physical exercise and benefits from it than we even realize, because it's something that we actually enjoy. And that's a great strategy when it comes to physical activity. We want to choose something that we actually enjoy so that we will return to it again and again. So aerobic activity is going to be any activity in which the body's large muscles move in a rhythmic manner for a sustained period. In gardening, this can look like raking, chopping, scooping, shoveling, and aerobic activity has three components. One is intensity, and this is going to be how hard a person works to do the activity. Two is frequency, so how often does a person do the aerobic activity? And three is duration, or how long the person is doing the activity in any one session. So research has shown that doing aerobic activities can help a person do a lot of different things. First, it's going to help you achieve and maintain a healthy weight. It can also increase your stamina, can ward off viral illnesses, reduce health risks, manage chronic conditions, strengthen your heart, increase mental clarity, and boost your mood. And it's going to also help you stay independent as you age and actually live longer. So muscle and bone strengthening activities are any type of activity that produce an impact or tension force on your muscles and bones. They're going to help increase muscle strength and muscular endurance, and they're going to promote bone growth and strength. So they have three components: intensity, which is how much weight or force is being used; frequency, that's going to be how often a person does this activity, just like in the one we mentioned earlier; and then the third is sets and repetitions, or how many times a person does the activity, such as lifting weight or doing a push-up. So these type of activities have been shown to increase bone density and reduce the risk of osteoporosis. It's also going to help increase our metabolism, protect our joints from injury, and contribute to better balance, and thus reducing our risk of falls. It's also going to help manage chronic pain from conditions like arthritis, and it's going to, again, increase that mental clarity. Physical activity recommendations for American adults includes at least 150 minutes a week of moderate physical activity and muscle strengthening activities at least 2 days a week. And the great thing is the same activity can count for both. And gardening and other outdoor chores may be either or both. So if you're working out in your garden 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week, you'll hit that 150 minutes a week. The American Society of Surgeons of the Hand recommends taking the following precautions when gardening. First, aim to work with your wrist in a relaxed or neutral position for optimum strength. Only use hand tools with the appropriate hand. For example, do not grip a right-handed tool with your left hand. Square up your shoulders in front of where you're working instead of trying to reach across your body. So we also want to remember to always wear gloves while we're gardening, because they can reduce blistering, help protect your skin from chemicals, bacteria, things that are living in that dirt and can get into small cuts and scrapes and get infected. And it can also help protect against sun damage on your hands as well. Also want to make sure we're using the right tools. So instead of using your hands for digging, try using a hand shovel or a rake. Use tools for their intended purposes only. For example, don't use a broken shovel as a hoe to chop weeds. Avoid products with form-fitting handles because those are only going to fit one hand size and they can cause extra stress on your fingers. Use functional or adaptive tools as needed to help avoid injury. Also remember that repetitive motions like digging, raking, trimming hedges, pruning, planting bulbs, that can cause muscle damage and soreness. So make sure you're rotating your gardening activities every 15 minutes with a brief rest in between so the same muscles aren't overused and you can give them a little break. We can also reduce the risk of injury by warming up before we start gardening. So we can stretch major muscle groups like our shoulders, neck, core, back, arms, and legs. And then some of those smaller muscle groups like on our wrist, hands, and fingers. If you have time or want to, you can watch or follow along with some of the videos included in this presentation, which include some stretching exercises. So just to review, we want to make sure that we're always stretching before spending time gardening. We also want to make sure we're breaking up tasks to avoid repetitive movements that can make our muscles sore. And then also make sure that we're always using the correct tools that we need to avoid pain. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson and maybe you've taken something away and you're ready to get outside and start growing something. Thank you.